Yes, it's John G. Sutton, Tales from the Jails. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's now being billed collapse of the criminal justice system. Believe this or not, there are 60,000 plus cases awaiting trial at the Crown Court. 60 plus. A lot of these people are on remand in prisons, untried, and the problem with this was brought to light today when a particular inmate known as Voja Petrovic, age 36, has been complaining that he's been held in prison for over 4 years and he hasn't been to Crown Court on trial. Well, he went and the case was cancelled and he was put back into prison, and he's currently banged up in Leicester prison, Leicester in Leicestershire. And he was arrested. Let me tell you his story. He was arrested in January 2019 and charged with conspiracy to supply Category A drugs. He's not convicted. He is awaiting trial, and the reason he can't get there now is totally due at the moment to the strike of the criminal barristers. That's the barristers who provide defences for inmates under the legal aid scheme. They're saying that they are not being properly paid, and some are saying that they've actually been receiving remuneration that is less than the basic rate of pay for people, anybody working, you know. So you can imagine if you spent 6-7 years studying to be a barrister and you get there and you're accepted to the bar, because you've got to go through a bar examination, and you pass that, you're accepted to the bar, and then you're working for the criminal justice system, for the courts, and you provide legal aid, and your actual pay is less than somebody who is flipping burgers in McDonald's. You're going to feel a little bit angry about that, I would think, yeah? In fact, I'll tell you a little story here. Go back 40 years or so when I lived in Manchester myself. We had a friend whose son went to the same school as my daughter, and we were friends with the family, and he was a chief inspector in the police. Very bright man, and he went to study part-time. He studied it part-time, worked through it, and got to be a qualified barrister at law. And he was looking forward to a brilliant career, and he joined a chambers, because barristers are going to chambers, and didn't get any work. No work. He was qualified as a barrister. He had chambers, but he didn't get any work. You get work allocated through lawyers, through solicitors, but they didn't. Very, very few people actually got him appointed as their barrister, and he went back to being a chief inspector in the police. And like me, he left the service. He left the police service after doing 30 odd years. He was at the training school after that. But I mean, that's disgraceful, is it not? Yeah? I mean, and you see, everybody thinks the law is a brilliant profession, which it is. It depends on what side of the law you work. But being a criminal barrister is not particularly well paid. I had a friend who was a criminal barrister that lived at Bolton, lady, and she ended up teaching law. She didn't make much of a living actually practicing criminal law. She went to teach at Manchester University, and that's where she ended up. Which is, you're getting a teacher's pay, aren't you? Or a lecturer's pay, I don't know what that is, 60,000 a year, something like that. It certainly isn't hundreds and hundreds of thousands a year. So it's not perhaps the world's best paid job. That's happening now. Collapse of the criminal justice system. Apparently the prison officers were refusing to go into court during the heat wave because they said they wouldn't attend court if the temperature in the court was above 23 degrees centigrade. The big soft gets. Seriously. I mean, come on. I've been in the Old Bailey when it's been absolutely red hot. Yeah. And worked in the scrubs when we were trying to give the inmates ice cream on one Saturday. And we had to get it out quick because it was that hot it was melting. That was in the summer of 76. And if we'd abided by the basic health and safety rules, we'd have been out of there. But if we'd have been out of there, who would have looked after the inmates? You see, the problem that you've got at the moment is there's nobody accepting any responsibility. Anybody who got any sense would look at what's happening in the prisons today and say this is not working. You cannot put 18-year-old girls, wet behind the ears, 9 stone, in charge of a landing at places like the Scrubs and Walton Jail and Armley Prison. You can't do it. You can do it, but it isn't going to work. I'm hearing reports from people who are working in the prison saying that the staff, the young staff, you get young lads, 19, 18, 20, that kind of thing, no experience of being in control of people, put into the prisons with a set of keys, a big hat and off they go in a uniform. They daren't do it. They're terrified. No wonder the jails are full of drugs, because they'll snatch them and threaten them, this usual stuff. You do that, we'll put you in here. I mean, they did that. They tried that when I was in the jails. The first thing that would happen is that you'd hear the ringing bells. That would be the ambulance arriving to take them away. It wasn't no messing about in them days. You couldn't. As I say, you cannot afford to lose control of the landings. And that's what they've done. They've lost control of the landings. Somebody needs to tell the government, you can't do this. You need to go back 40 years and start recruiting the biggest psychopaths in Britain. Because that's what they were doing. Well, I'm not a psychopath, by the way. I certainly don't believe I am. Quite empathetic. In fact, for a period of time when I left the prison service, I was working as a teacher for adults with learning difficulties. I got myself a teaching certificate from Bolton University and got a job with Lancashire County Council teaching adults with disabilities. Anyway, that's what's happening today. That's today's little rant in Tales from the Jails. But the jails are out of control. The criminal justice system is in decline. It's on the verge of collapsing. The criminal barristers have walked out, and I can't blame them. I mean, if I was a criminal barrister and I was earning less than the basic wage, I'm sure that my wife would say, why don't you go and get a job at McDonald's, John? You're going to be better off. And it's that time of day, folks, when it's going to be the song Ding Ding Donger. Yep. Except before I sing you a murder another song, I'm going to read you one of my poems. This is called Instant Suntan. There you go. You got that? Wrong one. There we go. You got that? Instant Suntan. Yeah, it's in my book. Apparently you can't get it on Amazon. I don't know. Not really interested in selling books anyway. I'm going to read you. I will be when I get that published by Sean Atwood. He's going to publish my book. This is a poem, and it's about back in the 70s. It was cold out there, and I was going on holiday. Seriously, and to Spain. And I thought, well, I have been in uniform and all this inside the prisons. I'm as white as a lily, So I get some suntan lotion, some instant suntan stuff, And this is a story, as I imagined it, what happened next. Instant Suntan by John G. Sutton. Deep brown, Never red, that is what the label said. No harmful rays, it's kind to man. In a tube, instant tan. Put it on, last thing at night. Morning came, what a fright! One dark leg and a big white bum, streaky chest where the stuff had run, face all blotchy, near black nose, staring eyes and twinkling toes. At the pool on holiday, all the people ran away. Is it catching? Called a man. No, it's instant bloody tan. There you go. Instant Suntan by John G. Sutton. I'm going to slaughter another song for you now. Some people said the last one was alright. I haven't seen you on the sick parade, but if you agree that this one is really, really good, then I expect to see you there tomorrow morning. This is another Jim Reeves song. I like Jim Reeves. What a rock and roller, really, was he? Yeah, more of a country and western style. So I'm going to sing you He'll Have to Go, made famous by Jim Reeves. Stand by. Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. I'll tell the man to turn the jukebox way down low, and you can tell your friend there with you, he'll have to go. Whisper to me, tell me, do you love me true? Or is he holding you the way I do? Though love is blind, make up your mind. I've got to know. Should I hang up, or will you tell him he'll have to go? You can't say the words I want to hear while you're with another man. Do you want me? Answer yes or no. Darling, I will understand. Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. I'll tell the man to turn the jukebox way down low, and you can tell your friend there with you, he'll have to go. There you go. I think you've gone already, haven't you? I don't blame you. It was a rotten sound, wasn't it? Anyway, don't forget, like and subscribe. This is Tales from the Jails. I'm John G. Sutton. Speak soon.